Hi, everyone. My name is Patricia Fiorino. I am itinerant resource, social emotional learning for the Ottawa Catholic School Board. And today I'm going to be highlighting for you the EOCCC document around mental health and wellness for Catholic schools. The document I'm going to be highlighting is the 2019 edition, and it includes lessons for kindergarten, grades 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the document, highlight some key areas within the document, and talk about the lessons that are available for each of those grades. So let's just start with breaking down some of the front matter in the document. So if you look at page 4, you will see that it has a table of contents. And within the table of contents, it's broken down into grade levels, what the lessons are all about. So for example, in kindergarten, there are 5 lessons. Lesson 1 is emotions, 2, building resiliency in our young learners, 3 is building a sense of belonging and community for our young learners. Number 4, developing a sense of dignity in every person. And number 5 is culminating activity, creating a toolbox of strategies around emotions. So that would be kindergarten. Now, every grade that's available in this document, which I highlighted earlier, has 5 lessons. The first 4 lessons are lessons based around developing an idea or developing an awareness around certain topics. And then lesson 5 involves a culminating task that brings together all the learning from the previous 4 lessons. So it doesn't matter if you're in kindergarten or if you're in grade 8, there are 5 lessons and 4 lessons, and then number 5 is a culminating task. So that's the upfront piece on the table of contents. You'll also see up front the acknowledgement to all the contributors to the document. There's an introduction to resources that support this document and the development of this document. And one of the key resources they highlight is the Supporting Minds document right here, which is available in all the schools and also available online. So definitely worth checking out and getting more ideas for classroom implementation right from that document too. Then it moves on into just a reminder for us, which I really like that it's done this here, that most educators are not medical professionals, and therefore we are not in a position to be the sole supporters of our students, and we're not qualified nor required to educate our students about the intricacies of specific mental illnesses or conditions. So it gives you some connections here, or recommendations of sources that they can go to if they're looking for something beyond the level that we would offer at the educational level for teaching students. So that's up front here, matter. It also gives us an image, I guess, of the AIM model. And if we're looking at the EOCC document, we are specifically looking at Tier 1, which is the educational piece, supporting the education around mental health and wellness. If we're talking about CEL, your CEL partners would be supporting the level or the Tier 1. But then if you had friendship groups going on in your school, they would be supporting your Tier 2, that more small group targeted interventions. And then you have Tier 3, which is individualized interventions based on particular student needs. So again, we from this document are really supporting this Tier 1 model here. Okay, so moving on. I'm just going to delete all our writing here. Moving on to the next section, you have a great synopsis of the limbic system and what happens in our brains when it is under stress. A great reading before you implement any of the lessons around stress and emotions. So it also gives us a little bit of a sense of what can we do for ourselves in order to develop our own mental health and wellness. And it gives a breakdown of different things we can do, such as our faith development, lifelong learning, taking a break, making time to meet with colleagues, etc. Their pages 10 and 11 give us a great breakdown of that. Then it moves on into Christian meditation and it gives a great model, a visual model on what Christian meditation would look like and how do we implement it personally and with the students in our classroom. Then we get into our lessons. So in kindergarten, the color for kindergarten in the document is yellow, and you will see in all of the grades, doesn't matter which grade you're in, it will highlight what the lesson title is. So in this case, for kindergarten, it's emotions. Okay? So that's your title. That's what you're going to be discussing in lesson number 1. Every lesson, depending, it doesn't matter what grade you're in, whether it be kindergarten or the grade 8 lesson, always gives a bit of background information. So the upfront piece here is the background, and it will also give you links to prior knowledge that the students may need to have. Then from there, it gets into identifying curriculum expectations, such as the Catholic graduate expectations and some overall specific expectations from related subject areas. So you'll see that in there, and links to the very specific learning goals for that lesson. Then it moves into some prior knowledge that you will need to have in order to implement this lesson, some terminology. So prior knowledge gives you a link to in this case, the zones of regulation, terminology, things that you will be using in the lesson. And then lastly, resources that go along with the lesson. So these are recommended resources. You certainly can use some of your own if you have other resources that link to emotions and the topic of emotions in this case. Then once it gives you a breakdown of the upfront piece of the lesson is broken down very structurally for you. So it always has a faith focus up front. It's either a prayer or a scripture or a Christian meditation. Then it has a minds-on activity that are usually approximately 5 minutes. Then it has an action activity, which is approximately 15 minutes, usually linked to the resources that they recommended at the beginning of the lesson plan. And then a consolidation that's always around 30 minutes. And within there, if they are recommending a video clip or something, they will have a link to that video clip right there for you to use. So very comprehensive right there. Don't have to reach out much other than gathering up some of the texts that go along with it. And most of the texts that are recommended in here are either available in schools or online, are easily accessible to you. Then there's usually a section that has notes at the end. And sometimes the notes will be around just, hello, just be aware of this. And sometimes the notes will be things like, if you want to extend this lesson, this is another way to do it. So in this case, another suitable song would be If You're Happy and You Know It. Okay, so they always give you that as well. So every lesson from kindergarten through to grade 8 is broke down the same way. And the culminating tasks are all in there, broke down for you to accumulate what do they know around the topics that you've been teaching. The other thing that they have added in here, which is important, are all the black line masters that go along with the lessons. So anything that you're working on in that lesson, they will have black line masters to go along with it that you can use or you can make your own. Okay, so that is pretty much the EOCCC document, the 2019 version that covers the grades that I highlighted for you. And I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that you're going to start looking at how can you use this in your classroom. Thanks. Bye.